Good evening, everybody. We'll call the meeting to order and note all the members present. Got Kathy, Councillor Cannon on Zoom and Rebecca on Zoom. And everybody else is here. We'll start with the acknowledgement. We will begin this meeting by acknowledging that we are gathering on the land that has been inhabited by the Indigenous people since memorial. We will like to recognize that we are in the Robertson Superior Treaty territory, and the land of which we are gathered today is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe. Specifically, we acknowledge the neighboring communities, Cotton First Nations, to whom we have great respect. We also recognize the contributions of all Indigenous peoples, including the Métis, in shaping and strengthening the community and the province of Ontario. Thank you. We'll move on to number 2, disclosure of pecuniary interest. Any? Seeing none. Oh. We'll get approval of the agenda. We get a mover. Councillor Pilon. All in favor? Carried. There's no delegations or presentations. Move on to number 5, adoption of minutes. Can I get a mover for adoption of minutes? Councillor Chason. All in favor? Motion carried. Number 6, business arising out of the previous meeting. There's none. We'll move right into new business. Kevin, I guess this firefighting certification is your baby?
Yep.
You wanna?
Nope.
No, I read a lot of it, so yeah.
So the Ontario Fire Marshal has filed an Ontario regulation for firefighter certification. What this means is that all firefighters in the province of Ontario will have to become to a minimum standard for certification as a firefighter. This certification could be a concern for the Walla Fire Department. Not so much for current firefighters, but for new recruits. The regulation states that they have to spend significant time doing educational and practical training, which can end up to an extra 200 hours that these people have to do. With this passing of the regulation, there wasn't a set direction on how we were going to get to that certification. My personal opinion on our fire department is we have enough experience that it shouldn't be an issue. It's when some of our firefighters start to retire and we get new recruits, we're going to demand that they spend a lot of initial time training, which means they could spend up to 2 or 3 weeks before they can do any firefighting or supporting the community. Because it's based on a volunteer commitment, you're asking them to give up family time, job time, vacation time. So I can't give you an answer on how it's going to affect us. There are things that I'm worried about in terms of cost for training instructors, cost for bringing instructors in. So I just wanted you to be aware that this ongoing certification could become an issue for the municipality.
Go ahead.
I did some reading, Kevin, so bear with me. Okay, my understanding is as long as your training records are good and current, then all firefighters have been on the fire department prior to January 1st, 2021 can apply to be grandfathered. Is this true?
Yes.
Okay.
And just a minute before I say it,
Okay.
to continue on, depending on the services that you provide for the community, the grandfathering will not affect the firefighters to become certified. So they would actually have to do the testing and the skill testing.
So our firefighters don't.
Well, I shouldn't say they don't. There's a portion of us that were grandfathered 4 years ago when this started to come out. We had half who were under the time allotment to be able to grandfather. So now they've come out with what they call legacy. But if we're going to do what they call interior attack or full firefighting, the legacy will not affect how you can certify your firefighters.
So how many firefighters do we have that are certified now for that?
There's 8 of us.
There's 8. And can those guys train too? Or do they not have the training?
A couple can. You still need additional training to become an instructor for a firefighter. And I didn't have them grandfathered at the time because I didn't have enough experience. So
Okay.
there's 3 of us that can do it,
Okay,
and we're hoping that that's the way we can move forward.
okay.
But there is no direction from the Ontario Fire Marshal if we can do that.
So what I read doesn't really stand for our department.
No, so there's too many variables when it comes on how you certify a firefighter. For firefighters to do exterior attacks, there's only certain sections that they have to be trained. When you become an interior attack fire department, that means you have to be fully trained as firefighter 1, firefighter 2, hazmat operations, motor vehicle collisions, and ice water rescue.
Okay.
And some of those cannot be grandfathered or go through the legacy part.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which means we have to have full courses for these guys to attend.
So there's a lot of work ahead, isn't it?
Yes and no. Because we have training records that we've done motor vehicle collisions and ice water rescue,
Okay.
then we may be able to do a shorter version of the training just to become certified.
But we have 3 trainers here that can do this?
Yeah.
Well, that's perfect then. But it's when
but you have to get into an agreement with the Ontario Fire Marshal or the Ontario Fire College
Okay,
to allow us to train our firefighters. So it's like any other contract that we looked up, whether it's selling a property or site plan agreements or anything like that. It's now the Walla Fire Department and the Ontario Fire Marshal have come to agreement that these steps will be taken.
is there a deadline for this?
We have 4 years to get this done
Oh, that's good.
for current firefighters. So
Okay.
any recruits you have to do within 36 months, which is 2 years.
Oh, good.
Now, when you think about it, I can get a course for the 18 or 19 firefighters we have now, but I can't get a course for 2 when we hire 2 new firefighters. Now I have to send them out to a course.
Okay, I think I understand it better now. So this grandfathering kind of helps, but doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. I did read a lot and I did try to, and I even asked Todd a couple of questions so I wouldn't really screw up. But anyway, thank you.
Kevin, I got a few questions on that. When you say grandfather, we need firefighters here. You guys are awesome. We need protection. What cost is that going to cost taxpayers for the extra 200 hours you're off the book for them to get trained?
It all depends on how you want to get them certified. So what the Ontario Fire College has done since they closed is they've opened regional training centers. Most of the regional training centers are in Southern Ontario. Everybody knows what it costs to send an individual to a course for 10 days. You got your travel expenses, you got your meals, you got your accommodations, and then you got the cost of the course.
So would you be say that we should, as council, put that in our capital budget every year for training purposes?
It will become part of the budget, but I don't know the particulars to be able to put that in at this time.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
still waiting for 6 months. They said 6 months, we should be able to get more of a clearer picture of what's going to happen. I'm hoping that we can do in-house training, which will save us a lot of money.
Perfect, yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Any other questions? Yeah, I guess going forward that, like I say, it's time-based right now, waiting to see what the outcome is gonna be, but, this is gonna be a tricky slope going down the road. Because, even, I mean, you're talking 80 and 8, just, so I don't know if, you know, we go into, full-time trainers or, yeah, it's gonna be.
Like I said, I don't
discussed.
have the answers at this
Yeah.
time. The OFM hasn't come out with anything directive. So I just wanted you aware that this will be an ongoing concern.
And every community is gonna wrestle with this.
Yes,
Any other questions? Thanks, Kevin.
you're welcome.
We'll move on to 7.2, site plan control. Or do you want to take this one?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have a report for council and attached was a draft site plan control bylaw tonight. I want to focus on my report for council, being more specific about some of the changes that are resulting as new legislation is contemplated by the provincial government, basically called the More Homes for Everyone Act and the More Homes for Everyone Plan. And I know that council have seen a lot of emails, whether it be through our associations with AMO, Phenom. This was a large piece of legislation originally started by the province a couple of years back. And it's all about trying to put policies, procedures, regulations in place to expedite planning approvals, in the end, hoping that more housing is developed for our province. In that legislation, without getting too specific to the overall plan and the overall More Homes plan, I want to speak tonight about the Planning Act changes that are specific and will affect the community, and concentrate on the requirement and recommendation tonight for council to approve a new site plan control bylaw. So our current site plan control bylaw is dated 1991, so it's 20 years old. A site plan control bylaw is authorized by council through two regulations. One is through the Planning Act of Ontario. Section 41 sets out what council can put in a bylaw as some development control standards for any one building in the community, but that has to be authorized in the Wawa official plan. So you have the official plan passed in 2015 that does have clauses in the plan that authorizes council to pass the site plan control bylaw. And in essence, you have a site plan control bylaw in place. What it does on lands within the municipality, in different zones, it allows council to enter into an agreements with any developer to control things such as the municipality requiring where a garbage receptacle or garbage collection space might be on a land, where trees and how the outside lighting, the exterior of buildings, walkways, you can control some development in the municipality through this tool. You can't control what's internal, but you can control from a site plan perspective how buildings are placed on property. In the More Homes for Everyone Bill 109, which was passed on April 14th, many components of that bill have already come into effect, but there are many that are still being opened on the Environmental Registry of Ontario for public comment. A lot of that comment period did end on April 29th, last Friday. In this proposed legislation, in my report to council, I set out that it's going to impact a number of planning and development legislations, not just Planning Act, but Condominium Act, the Construction Lien Act. There's a whole host, and I won't go in that tonight, but to concentrate for council on the proposed changes to the Ontario Planning Act that state that to streamline development approvals in municipalities in Ontario, and facilitate faster decisions, which hopefully give developers a quicker turnaround time so they can move forward with projects. It's recommended that decisions on site plan applications be delegated to municipal staff for applications, site plan applications made to the municipality on or before July 1st. So that is what the legislation is proposing. There are a variety of other changes, and I highlight for council in my report some of the key ones that will affect the municipality, and that is if someone makes an application for a site plan or an application for rezoning their property, the new amendments to legislation say starting next January, so January 1st, 2023, that if council and the municipality don't act within, for example, 60 days, the applicant gets a refund. And that refund is by levels depending on the amount of time it takes the municipality to respond. So I set out that if, for example, on a zoning bylaw, if council doesn't make a decision within 90 days of receiving, it's really important, excuse me, a complete application. A lot of times we receive applications in municipalities, but they're not complete. But on the date we deem that a complete application is received, if council doesn't deal with that matter within 90 days, there is a, I'm sorry, I forget right now, but a 25% refund, for example, on that application. So it's putting into effect some timelines for council to adhere to that don't exist today under current legislation. There'll also be what's being referred to as the CIHA tool. It's a community infrastructure and housing accelerator tool. Guidelines haven't been released on that tool, but the province is saying that there will be a tool that can be used by municipalities on certain development applications where you can, by motion of council, resolution of council, go to the minister and ask the minister to step in to make decisions on planning matters. And there's a list of what those types of planning applications could be forwarded to the minister to make a decision. And he makes what's called a zoning order. So essentially, the minister has overriding authority on certain matters to make decisions in municipalities. And they would deal with things like land and building and structures that support health, long-term care, education, recreation, housing, and any kind of planning that would promote employment and economic development in a community. Then there's the site plan approvals. And as I said, the site plan review period would be what's in existing legislation gives staff and municipality 30 days. We'll have 60 days. And again, it's recommended that the authority to approve those site plan applications be delegated to staff. So I have taken our existing bylaw and provided council with the draft bylaw updated to the Planning Act today. I've reviewed it internally with staff, but I also sent it to Bob Lehman. Bob Lehman is a professional planner that's had the relationship with the municipality for many, many years, and he wrote the first zoning bylaw in 1984, so he's very familiar. And I also had him review the proposed bylaw. Mr. Lehman had said that site plans have been delegated to staff in other municipalities years ago, so he's surprised that this council hadn't done it. In response, it's because we don't get very many. The truth is we don't have a lot of development up till now, but certainly we anticipate development to come. So what's prepared for council in the draft bylaw is certainly something that staff recommends and we support, and tonight presented council as a draft. So if council would agree with the recommendation, we would forward to the next regular meeting on May 17th. But that provides 2 weeks should council have any comment or we want to make any changes. So in essence, that's a summary of that aspect of the More Homes, More Choices plan and legislation, just focused on the planning tool available to us today to make changes about.
Any questions? Okay, thanks. It's a lot of meeting. Okay, we'll move on to 7.3. Mr. Beach, you want to take this one?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm just going to do a little brief on operations, as not really much has happened in March and April, as we just went from transition from winter to spring. March was pretty much still removing snow from the streets, widening everything out. And April was the start of street sweeping, potholes, trying to fill what we can. We started grading some of the roads, half loading one up on our outside roads to try and slow things down a little bit before the summer come and we could really get to grading them. Then for our capital really hasn't started yet. We've had, the landfill is slowly moving forward, so we have gotten some management plans and system designs in. We're just waiting for the approval from the ministry, and then we can start moving forward. And then for the coming schedule, we're just gonna keep flushing, sweeping, doing sidewalks, getting our garbage cans and benches out as soon as we can on the sidewalks, and then just working on our line painting and capital projects.
Any questions?
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Dan, the Harbor Road is our responsibility,
Yes, it is.
right to the reserve line?
No,
Where does it stop?
it stops 3 kilometers before the reserve.
Oh, okay, just that, okay. I wasn't sure, somebody said large pond right in the reserves, and I don't know. So you're 3 kilometers before is our responsibility.
Yes, it's,
And all our equipment working
yes, it is.
then? Thank you.
Go ahead, Counselor.
Just a couple complaints that come in down on some of the roads. And I just want to make it aware to you that Hillcrest Churchill, that corner or that four-way stop is terrible. I guess nothing stays in there, it just comes out. And also down on Government Road, there's one pothole that person hit it and he thought he took his tire out, so just put it in yours. So anyway, how often do you go out and check the roads every day or once a week?
During the summer, it's once a month, but right now, we're still patrolling once a day.
So you're busy, I know that. Okay, well, anyway, thank you for those answers, and I'll just tell these people that you're on it.
The top of Churchill and corner you're talking about?
Yeah.
That is scheduled to be redone, resurfaced with the school zone project.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. That's good. Right over here.
That one's me. Oh, go ahead, Counselor.
With regards to the schedule, Dan, are you able to in the future assign timelines or maybe even produce like a Gantt chart for the forecasted schedule on your report?
That's hard, depending on weather, right, and what happens. It's hard to do, right? We never know what it's gonna be like out and what the weather's gonna be like. Certain things happen at certain times.
Okay, it would help like to just kind of identify like even a high level schedule for some of the tasks.
Okay,
I mean, if it's possible, if not, I mean, we'll live with what we have.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to just note a couple of things that I see we're doing the bicycle lanes sweeper, which is great. Because I see the bike starting to flow today a little bit, so that's awesome. What's in the queue for capital this year? I know you got a dump truck.
Oh, yes, new dump truck. We have the water project, finishing off school zone project and cemetery. But fire hydrants have been scheduled to purchase them, but we cannot do the job until 2023 as we don't, they can't get the materials.
Oh, it's gonna be a common problem. Also, is there a warranty on your painting lines on the Mission Road project?
Originally, there were supposed to be a high cost to the lines being painted. They were supposed to use a new type of paint that was going to last a long time. We couldn't get that. The contractors couldn't get it done, so we went back to the regular water-based paint. So that's going to have to be done every year.
Okay, yeah, just like a lot of the intersections and roadways now.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, go ahead.
One more for cemetery committee. They're gonna ask, someone ask you, what date do we expect the water right there?
What date do we start to water?
Expect water of the cemetery, so use it
At least not until June.
June 1st, somewhere around there.
There's still 4 or 5 inches of ice on
Okay,
1 or 2 parts of the cemetery right now.
okay, so now it doesn't fish for my next meeting. Thank you.
Go ahead, Counselor.
Dan, I'm really confused when your contract says they have to specify the paint. They have to get that paint, whether they can get it or not. We're gonna have to do it. How's the did you read the
was-
contract?
Yes, it was a change order.
Who changed it?
Contractor. We
The
couldn't-
engineer agreed?
Yes, we couldn't get the contractor to get that contractor to do the lines. Wasn't able to get that paint, so they had to go with a different contractor to paint the lines.
So we will never get that paint?
Well, we can pay to have it done at a high cost.
Yeah, I'm so surprised that that got changed. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr.
We'll
Chair,
move in.
Councillor Cannon has.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see it out there. Counselor Cannon, go ahead.
Hi, Dan. Can you tell me when the road into the mission is going to be done?
What do you mean? Is it paved?
As in
Or-
anything?
We're gonna bring the sweeper down there to sweep it.
And what are you
Next,
going to do about the potholes?
We're gonna try and do as much as we can when we get time to do it. I have a small crew and we're just trying to do as much as we can at this time of the month.
When we talked last time about projects being done, I asked and everybody thought that one of the projects that was going to be done was the road into the mission.
Counselor Cannon, no, staff never made any recommendations to council at any time to redo the entire road, but we do have money in the capital budget for making some repairs along the road, Dan, at certain spots that we had scheduled last year but weren't able to complete. So I believe there will be some cutouts of some bad sections along that road scheduled for this year.
Because we've had lots of complaints from the boaters.
As a voter, yes, Kathy, I do agree. It's just not in the budget we don't have the money to do that road. It's $1 million a kilometer.
Yeah.
To do asphalt.
When is the last time that road was done?
Sorry, I'm I'm an immigrant to Wawa. You would probably have a better chance of telling me that. It was never done in the 21 years that I've been here, so.
Okay, thanks.
I guess could be future considerations for a capital project down the road somewhere. Get some money from somebody to give us. So that's about the best we can do right now, I think. I mean, you're talking about the cement or the concrete or sorry, the pavement repairs. That's gonna be the machine that like heats it up and then,
The grinder, yes.
yeah, okay, because that'll help. Sure. Okay. Move number 8, touch low in camera session. Number 9, there's no business arising from the closed session. Next planning meeting will be Tuesday, May the 17th. During the meeting at 7 o'clock. Can we get a mover for that? Mr. Jason, all in favor? Stay tuned, looking on to the regular council meeting. Okay, welcome to the regular council meeting. No members present. Councillor Cannon's on Zoom and our guests. Disclosure of pecuniary interest, any? Okay,
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I, Councillor Pilon, declare a direct pecuniary interest on agenda item number 13.7, titled bylaw number 3503-22, as I'm an employee of Wellcam.
just remind us when we get to that. And then, get you to excuse yourself.
Mr.
Okay,
Mayor, do you have a second? Councillor Cannon?
oh, go ahead, Councillor Cannon.
You keep forgetting about me.
Yeah, I'm looking at everybody else with the screen. I'll have to get used to that.
That's okay. I, Councillor Kathy Cannon, declare potential indirect pecuniary interest on agenda item 14.2, property standards complaint. And the reason is known to both parties personally.
Okay, same thing again. If you can remind us when it comes, we'll excuse you. Okay, we'll get on to number 3. Approval of the agenda. We have a
Moved by Councillor Schaefer, seconded by Councillor Pilon, resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council scheduled for Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022 be approved as presented.
all in favor? Motion carried. There's no delegations or presentations. We'll move on to announcements. There's a number
Closer to the mic.
giving notice. Library board meetings, a public zoning act, there's corporate meeting. There's cemetery meeting, there's heritage. These are just announcements. Hey Kathy, there's no.
Yes.
Any questions or anything anybody want to ask? Open for that. Adoption of minutes, regular council meeting from Tuesday 19th.
Moved by Councillor Pilon, seconded by Councillor Schaefer. Resolved that the following minutes of council be adopted as presented. Minutes of a regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, April 19th, 2022, as contained on pages 1 to 5, inclusive of the minute book.
All in favor? Motion carried. Okay, we'll move on to correspondence. I found this actually pretty interesting, this. Some of the stuff on standards of care of animals and that it was interesting. Did you get a chance to read that? Yeah, that's good stuff. Mr. Environment Conservation of Parks, expiry, well, this is emergency orders. I guess I can direct this one to Rebecca. Can you hear me? Again? I get a question that says owner operators and operating authorities of drinking water waste systems, the use of emergency substitute operators will no longer be permitted. Do we have all licensed operators?
Yes, we do. Yep, everybody's licensed. Jose just wrote her OIT exam, so we're waiting for those results to come back. But Mark and Dave are both licensed, yes.
Awesome. Any other questions on that? Okay, I just noted that and I just wanted to check. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, move on to the consent agenda.
Moved by Councillor Schaefer, seconded by Councillor Pilon, resolved that the items listed under consent agenda 8.2 to 8.6 be approved as recommended.
Any questions? Yeah.
Is it too late to make an announcement? If you didn't say announcements,
Yes.
I had something ready.
Okay, where will we? Consent agenda.
Consent agenda.
All in favor? Motion carried. Staff reports? Actually, yeah, we received all those, yeah.
Just bear with me.
We're looking for the motion.
Okay,
Moved by Councillor Chason, seconded by Councillor Hatfield, resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Wawa does hereby receive the following staff reports, a copy of which are attached here too. A, CAO 2022-03, site control plan. B, DB 2022-02, report for the month of March and April 2022. KS 2022-01, firefighter certification.
all in favor? Motion moved, carried. No business arising at the previous meeting. Number 11, new business. 11.1, approve the mayor's travel minister announcement, Alamos Gold Mine.
Moved by Councillor Hatfield, seconded by Councillor Chason, resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Wawa does hereby approve the travel of Mayor Pat Tate for his attendance at the minister's announcement at Alamos Gold in Duberville on Monday, April the 11th, 2022.
All in favor? Motion carried. Notice of motion? None. 13, bylaws.
Moved by Councillor Chason, seconded by Councillor Hatfield, resolved that the following bylaws be introduced and read a first, second, and third time are finally passed, and that the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same. Any rule of this council to the contrary notwithstanding, bylaw number 3498-22 to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on the 3rd day of May 2022. Bylaw number 3499-22 to authorize the corporation of the municipality of Wawa to enter into a license agreement for the use of real property to Cassie Provo. Bylaw number 3500-22 to authorize the sale of municipal land described as Lot A and B on Walker Engineering Drawing A1-2007-32G1 and known as 3 White Drive to Stephen White and Monty White. Bylaw number 3501-22 to adopt the estimates of all sums required and to fix the rate of taxation for the corporation municipality of Wawa, and to further provide for the penalty and interest of default of payment thereof for the year 2022. Bylaw number 35-02-22 to adopt municipality of Wawa policy number HR-013 discipline policy. Bylaw number 3503-22 to authorize the next generation 911 authority service agreement between the corporation of the Township of White River and Bell Canada.
Yeah.
Declare now. Okay.
All in favor? Motion carried. Keep forgetting about Kathy.
Kathy, just come back in.
Yep. she can Just break it down.
14, we'll move into closed session.
Moved by Councillor Chason, seconded by Councillor Hatfield, resolved that the committee proceed in camera at 7:09 PM in order to address the following matters pertaining to: 1, a legal issue property standards complaint that's related to personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. And a legal issue, there's 2 items: offers of purchase of property and proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board.
All in favor? Motion carried.